Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my pattern trading again. I hope you enjoyed the intro. I know it was a little bit long and talkative, but I was just going over uh, basic um, introduction, looking at different stocks. Basically, what you want to do. Um, if you use that first intro video as a baseline, what I normally do is I hunt through different stocks, and sometimes I'll even look at different platforms like the Yahoo Finance or Robinhood or even other areas, and I look at the most active. So I'm looking for usually either high inclines or deep declines. Like I found one yesterday, and I got in at the end of the market about 12 noon, and I will go over that in this video, and I'm hoping to make a decent profit from that one, along with the setup I did. So let's get into it, and I'll actually get into more of the material today of it's actually 8 a.m. So we got an hour and a half before the market officially opens. So I'm gonna show you what happened yesterday, what I'm looking for today, and hopefully we'll be making some big gains. So let's get right into it. So move me out of the way. So this was my day trading yesterday. As you can see, it never consistently stays uh, consistent. It's a stock. It's risky, so it goes up and down. I was in positive down, positive down. So long story short, I almost sold some stocks right here because I was at a 21% positive just in a day. But I held it, which it ended up closing at a almost 10% gain, which is awesome. That's what I was looking for. I actually sold my uranium, and one of the reasons I sold my uranium, if I pull this up, see, as my trading view, I actually usually got multiple charts going on here. I actually got multiple monitors, which helps a lot. But pretty much what I was seeing here in the uranium, as I told you before, as we're peaking and then we're getting lower peaks, like so, I think we're about to get a double top, which at the moment we have. So depending on what the market does today, which I think is gonna plummet, I'll lose them gains. As you can see, the RSI is a lot lower than that one. That doesn't mean it can't keep going up, but for me, as a I try to do swing trading to make up for my day trades, because as I said, with our let me link that together. Since we are such a low number account, we're only limited to 3 day trades a week. So that means if I day trade it today, which is Tuesday the 1st, I'd have to wait till, say if I did all 3 of my day trades today, then I'd have to wait till Tuesday next week before I could do any day trades again. So they really restrict you unless you have over $25,000 in your account. Once you go above 25,000, that is a federal regulation. They will allow you to day trade all you want. So I try to limit my day trades, and so I incorporate a lot of swing trades. And so basically, the uranium I sold because it's getting ready to plummet. Now, if I was going to do long-term trading, I would say hold that, because if I actually, let's pull the other chart up. If I have uranium, see if we can see the bigger ballpark. If we actually go to the weekly chart, this is actually looking really good. As you can see, usually the red's gonna go green, red's gonna go green, so we're actually in a green. And as you can see from these previous charts, because that's what we do, is we look at the patterns. When we go green, we do go up and down, so we do continue to go up afterwards. So if we're going to do long-term trading, this is an awesome time to get in, because we should be shooting up and going up to a way higher high than before. And as you can see in the weekly chart, just like I showed yesterday with Bitcoin, this has been in a consistent gain recently. So most likely we're already past the head and shoulders, so worst of all, we would get capped out maybe up here to get like a double top, but most likely we will continue to go a lot higher. So if you're doing long-term trading, perfect time to get in, hold that, and even if it comes down, I don't think it'll bust through here. I mean, you do get some downward motion, but as you can see, we've been a lot higher in this stock in the past, so most likely it will continue. But as a day trader and swing trader, I'm preparing for this drop. So as you can see, we had this huge upward, and then you usually have a pullback. So that's what I'm planning for, is this upward and pullback. And since this was the higher high and we haven't actually hit a bottom yet, I think it's gonna pull back to at least the 50%, if not lower, and then we could even have a drop in here, which I doubt, because I think we're gonna have a huge increase. And as you go through the charts, our day chart just went green, and you can actually flip through these, but if you actually look at the percentile right here, that's what I was banking on, because we had a very huge gain yesterday, very sharp. So usually after a sharp upward trend, we have a pullback. And what I was also going by, as I was stating, we're having this upward trend, but it's gonna be most likely a lot lower, and I don't really think it's gonna go too much further, if at all. At the moment, it is showing in the pre-market it went higher, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna check a little bit above the 70% mark, and then we're gonna have a nice drop. Now, could I be wrong? Yes, we could get a nice big gain still, even though this is a lower high than here. It actually can get a big increase. So say we could even make it all the way up to here, to 450 or even 5. Of course you could do the Fibonacci and all that, but I try to keep everything simple. There's no need for that. I'm planning for a drop. I made my profit yesterday, and I'm not worried about it going up. What I'm waiting for is it to go back down. So when this caps out, goes back down, I'll buy my same stock again at a cheaper price than what I sold it for, and then when it goes back up again, which I'm planning for it to go back up again, I'll make an even bigger profit than if I held it the whole time. That's my goal. So I don't really care about capitalizing on every dollar, because it's almost impossible. The main thing is just getting a good gain. I had a nice I forget, it was roughly like 10-20%, which is really good for a day trade or swing trade. You don't need to get greedy. Sometimes you will have a higher gain than net. As you can see, it was aggressively up. I sold 2 contracts at 120 each, 240. So I made $60 profit. That was actually a really huge gain. So I didn't have a whole lot of money in it. Of course, as I put more money in it, but I didn't want to tie my funds up because these are the only other thing I'm going to add on this one, and I'm going to move on, is these are year contracts. So the year contracts and an option don't give you as big as profits as you do a short-term profit. And I only do these long-term profits because sometimes the market's kind of iffy. So I do the long-term just to compensate for in case the market backfires and goes down, which, as you could see, some of my other things like these, especially my Peloton, has went backwards, but I know I'll make profit because I got plenty of time for it to go back up. And I actually originally only had one, and as it went down to 70%, I actually bought 2 more, and it actually lowered my average price to this $1 when originally it was like $2. So when I bought them 2 extra contracts, it actually favored me. So now we're in the incline, and I've been making profit again from that. So the more, as you can see, that I made a 20% gain yesterday as well. I could have sold that, but I'm still in the negative, so I don't want to sell the Peloton until I have a huge increase of an actual positive 20% in whole. If I went to my today's return, I made 20% that day, but in my total return, I'm still in a negative 30%. But that's really good because I came from a negative 70%. So when this starts going higher, I'll make a nice profit. And a lot of times what I do too to back up with these, if they do go down, I'll actually buy a temporary put for a week or 2, or maybe a little longer, depending on how the stock's moving, just to counterbalance it. So as I'm losing money on my year contribution, I'm actually gaining money on the other option I do with the put, and that kind of counterbalances for my total to stay current. And I don't worry about the total too much because I know I still got another $200 here that will come back. And actually this one I held on to. I really wanted to dump it yesterday. I actually got to a 5% gain. Originally I only had 10 contracts. I actually bought 30 more at 10 cents, and we were hanging at the 8 cents for a while, and then we finally shot up into a nice profit. And I could have sold it at a 5%, but I didn't want to waste my last day trade. If it actually got to 10%, that's what I was looking for to get that gain. But if we actually look at this stock, then this is another one that has the potential of having a huge drop. And the only bad thing about this one is I don't really get a good pre-market estimate. So I gotta wait till the stock actually opens in Robinhood before it will once it opens, I can see in the pre-market which way it's actually moving, so that'll give me a better estimate. Or I can even pull it up somewhere else like Yahoo Finance and I could actually get a pre-market on the value there. But what I'm counting for is a big drop, and since I got 40 contracts of this, if I get a huge drop in the beginning pre-market, I'll probably sell it right off the back with a huge profit. And it was a combination of this put going up, Piton going up, and actually I had the fuel cell was actually really high. I actually had a nice 30% gain in the fuel cell. Obviously I bought these contracts pretty cheap, so it only equaled to it 120 bucks, but I still had a nice 30% profit. And it doesn't really matter the value, it matters the profit. So if I'm getting a steady profit every day, it don't matter if I have $100 or $1,000. You will blow your account out of the water. And as I said before, last week I was showing you I had an actual 20% gain, 25% gain in a week, in just 4 days actually, because the President's Day. The stocks ain't open on holidays, so I only had 4 days. I made that, and as you can see, I made almost the same amount in just 1 day. I could have sold everything if I wanted to, and I probably would have. I could have sold these two to lock in my profits, and I would have been stuck with one of them, which would probably would have been the fuel cell, because I'm really counting on that one to drop today as well. As I was showing you, they're both capping out, and what I like to use also, as you can see, the 3-minute gives you more in the money what's going on. As you can see, we did go in the red. We started going in the green a little bit, and we're actually hanging right here below this market, so most likely we're gonna have a huge drop. And I like the 15-minute. I use the 3-minute a lot for just seeing short term where it's going, and a lot of times what I'm looking for with the 3-minute is right here when these axes, or the averages are actually crossing each other, because that's the biggest indication of it starting to move up. And then as you go into the bigger ones, you'll actually see them cross later on, and it gives you a better perspective of how the stock's actually performing. So if I go to my day chart or even the 4-hour chart, that gives me a bigger picture of we've been in a huge decline, so we are due for a nice spike up like we keep getting here. So it's possible we might have another huge spike, but as you can see here, normally like this previous one, you got a little one, comes back in the red, and then it starts to grow, and then you get your big peak. But as you can see, these tops are constantly lower than before, and these lows are lower, so we've been at a constant decline. So until our tops start getting above, we're not going to be in a full incline. So even though we're getting these temporary gains like so, you can see there's heavy resistance where we're probably going to get a drop, which is what I am counting for, is the drop, because we are in a downward moving market. And that's one of your key aspects, what I was trying to point out in the intro. Know whether you're in a inclining market or a declining market, because that makes the biggest difference. It doesn't matter what the short term is, most likely the long term is going to follow. So you can get them short term gains and count on them short term gains, but prepare for the long term, what the stock's been doing. So that's how I got myself set up. I got rid of my uranium long call, but I do believe in the uranium's gonna keep going up. So once I get a nice drop on that, I will buy back into my long call, or I might even do a little bit shorter one as well, just to get a bigger gain on it when I plan on it actually going up. And then the Peloton I'm just holding until I actually get my profits that I want, because that one's been continuously going down recently, and as you can see, it went up yesterday. But as you can see, it had this huge spike and it corrected itself, and then it's starting to move up again. And I actually have that up here. Because this was my original in, because we're actually hitting a, I had a double bottom, and of course it bounced back off, and then it checked itself again at the double bottom, and that's when it launched. So we ended up making a triple bottom, and that's when we had a huge jump, and then it went so high for 2 days. So it had a little bit of a pullback, but as you can see, we're still gaining on our RSI. We are in the red, but I think it's gonna start going back into the green, and then we should get a really nice buy symbol. As you can see, when we go into our chart, we had to sell, but we're in a positive gain, getting out of the red. So it's only a matter of time. I don't know how long it'll take. That's why I just keeping the hold on this long-term call, and I'm not doing any extra calls and puts because it's been bouncing around and it's not worth my time. So what I'm really counting on is these two stocks to drop, give me back my 20%, another 10% gain to give me back my profit level I was at, and supersede that a lot more, hopefully, in this pre-market. So I hope that gives you a good breakdown of some things to look for. These are just a couple of the stocks I am trading today. I actually go through, I got tons of lists of stocks, and like I said, sometimes I'll actually come in here. You can go to most popular stocks, but a lot of times where the popular stocks is really good for long-term trading, because those are the ones that are probably going to be profitable in the long run, because those are the popular ones that most people go for. But what I actually go for is your daily movers, because as a day trader or swing trader, I'm looking for these daily moves. So I don't really know this company too good, but this is what I look for, is this huge drop. So a lot of times when I go into a stock like this, it had such a huge drop, but I see if it's new, how long it's been dropping. That is like ridiculous dropping. But usually what I'm looking for with a stock like this is when you have such a huge drop, I want to get in and hold that stock, so I count on that big incline again. So usually you'll have a big drop, and what it'll do, it'll come over, basically it'll come down and over, and then shoot back up, and that's what I want. Or if I have something like this where we had this huge gain, I want to anticipate the drop. So once we got a higher high, then I'm looking for this drop. And the funny thing is too, you can look at this where we actually have lower lows, and then we just had a random spurt. So that's a possible drop like it did. You just gotta look for a lot of patterns. And my best point, if you haven't noticed, besides basically search for stocks all the time, but what you really want to do, especially starting out, stick to just maybe 2 stocks. As you can see, I got 3 different ones, but normally I try to only stick to maybe 1 or 2. Sometimes I do 3, but that's because I got this long call and it's just sitting there waiting. So my main focus is actually on my 2 right here, the FCEL and LWLG, and I got 2 puts on them. These are the 2 I'm focusing on today. I don't even really pay attention to this one because it's a long call, and I know in the long run it's gonna go up, so I really don't care about that. All I do is glance at it every now and then, and I do glance at the stock because occasionally I might see a pattern that looks really good. I might be able to get a I might be able to buy like a short-term call once I see like a good launch spot within the next few days, or if it's gonna drop more, I will buy the put. So that's a basic breakdown, what's going on, what to look for. Keep trading, everybody. If you want to ask questions, ask some questions. I do answer my comments. If there any specific video or something that you would like to see, let me know. Thanks everybody. Infinite wealth, infinite love for you. Good luck today.